Good morning, everybody. Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is the Two Dum Yinzers episode 380. Good morning, fellas. How you doing today, Mike Derpy?
I had to reset my iPhone today. I'm not a happy camper.
You had to reset your iPhone. Why? What's that all about?
Oh, my kid was playing with it and I fell asleep and it locked out and he locked the phone out
Oh,
to where it was like a locked out for a while. So my phone has been reset back to May 31st. Luckily, there are no important messages on my phone, so I'm good. But other than that, I'm having a great morning.
Derpy, how you doing, man?
Another day closer to Steelers.
I agree. I thought the same thing when I woke up this morning. I thought, all right. And you know what's really cool about this week? There's five straight days of football. There's a Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then a Monday night game this week. So once it gets started, it's gonna be a lot of football. A few things we're going to talk about today. I got some good stuff here, guys. First we're going to talk about some injuries, some Steeler injuries. Go over a few things, and then we'll do something fun.
All right.
Joey Porter back on the field yesterday at practice. Of course, he's nursing his left ankle. Got a left ankle injury going on with Joey Porter Jr. Things seem to be going well, and hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be seeing him this Saturday.
Yeah, I think he'll be back out there. There's like what a precaution they were keeping him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so better to play it smart this time of the year.
Larry Ogunjobi was in a walking boot. Of course, he had a turf toe injury last year.
Yeah.
And he had a surgery on it, and I guess this is just minor. Yeah. He's going to be okay.
That's good. Yeah, and turf toe's no joke, man. That forced Jack Lambert to retire.
Yeah, some players. Yeah, definitely. There's been players over time that's had non-stopping, just nagging injury with that toe, and it just never really heals.
Yeah.
I remember Steve McNair. That was big with him, the quarterback for the Titans back in the day. He had a lot of turf toe injuries. I don't remember if it played into ending his career or whatnot, but I do remember that was a big thing for him, was the turf toe injury.
That's like when I first heard turf toe, I'm like, oh baby. Then I read about turf toe, I'm like, oh wow, okay, they're not babies.
Yeah. It just sounds funny, you know.
It does. You think
your toe?
Guys,
come on,
you toe. Then you realize how much weight you put on your toe.
So Joey Porter, not too bad. He got the ankle, like I said, back on the field yesterday. Keanu Benton, just day to day with the ankle.
Yeah.
Good news for him. Chappelle Russell, another linebacker, was waived yesterday. He, of course, he took an injury the other night. He got injured, but a linebacker named Forrest Ryan, who was a former Indianapolis Colts linebacker, was signed in his spot.
It's that time of the year that bottom part of the roster keeps churning and burning.
Yeah.
Players come, players go. That's the sad part about, guys like that. If you get hurt, they're not going to let you more or less like they're just going to move along from you.
Yeah, right. So a lot of guys fall to this. I remember, just over the years meeting people or hearing about people that had, such a promising career ahead of them in the NFL, any sport really, but the NFL specifically, were these guys, that have all the talent in the world and that could probably make it and do good things. You endure one injury, and especially this time of year, as Mike said, you're just going to get blown right out the bottom of the system. And it's unfortunate. A lot of times these guys bounce around. They go to a few teams. They end out somewhere, play a little bit of special teams, and then all of a sudden they're done. You know what I mean? It's such a hard company to work your way into. And that's why they say it's just the top 1% of the football players, of the millions.
Yeah.
You got to figure there's millions of kids across the land. I don't know the number, but only X amount make it to the pros and do well. And so it's unfortunate when you make it that far, and that's what it is that stops you, is your injury.
Yep. And unless you're like a top draft pick, man, we're gonna just move on.
Yeah. Speaking now let's Nick Kwiatkowski from Bethel Park, still out with his shoulder. He's still on the team. But this one here is the one that got my attention. Both KZ and Keon O'Neal are both practicing gingerly. Neal was on the field yesterday. KZ also participated lightly. So those are two encouraging things with a month, with 27 days left of the season. So just kind of nurse these guys now and keep them healthy. Let's get to the season opener.
And like the quote that I read from KZ, it sounded like it's like a coach's decision to bring them, just ease them back into practice.
Yeah. There's no real reason to rush them. And another thing is, I mean, you know who your starters are for the most part, and you're
like they want to be out there, but the coach.
And you get an opportunity. You get an opportunity to check a lot of these other guys out.
Yeah.
When these starters are, when you're preserving your starters. So it's not, these aren't the worst things in the world. It could be a lot worse. Steelers are off today. They'll be back at practice tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. I believe they head. They're not heading anywhere, but the game, of course, is Saturday evening, guys. Preseason game 2 against the Buffalo Bills.
The Bills, who last time we saw them against us, I don't want to talk about.
But you got to remember 2 times ago when we weren't supposed to beat them, when we beat them on opening day.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of them. I think that we could beat the Bills. I think that we could run with anybody at this point. I really honestly do. I think everything that we did in this offseason could, like I said, contribute to being a really competitive season. We got a lot of good things going on this team. You told me yesterday, Mike, that Herbig got injured, and I thought you meant Nick Herbig, and I almost went into complete shock.
Oh, it was Big Bro.
It was Big Bro, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I read it real fast.
On my way to the bridge to jump off, I took one last look.
Well, I was just scrolling through and I was like, oh no. Then I didn't stop and check which Herbig brother I was talking about. That's no offense to Big Brother Herbig,
no.
But he's more expendable. We have better depth on the O line than we do on the outside linebacker.
So I was glad to find that out. I was kind of bummed.
Yeah, but it was just just a little. It was not a major injury either way, but it's not good when it's the outside linebacker Herbig. And Nate and Nick Herbig, I'm going to get them both confused throughout their entire tenure here. That's going to be my Yinzer moment right there. I can't tell the Herbigs apart.
Quan Alexander. Quan Alexander is actually in the running for one of the starting inside linebacker jobs. Coaches say he's been really, really showing up and balling out, and he's competing for one of the top 2 jobs on the inside linebacker. This is the kind of guy that I was looking for. When I was looking at the
I knew he was already that guy.
The Edmonds from Buffalo that we were looking at, the inside linebacker from the Eagles that we were talking about. We just needed one of these quicker guys. It's not a traditional inside linebacker.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of guy I'm looking at. And he could, he's just so athletic and so talented. And, he could drop back and he could do so many things being this athletic kind of guy. Whether he starts or whether he doesn't, I don't know, but he's going to be a lot of fun to watch, Quan Alexander.
It is, but if with him, bouncing around 4 teams, 4 different years, it's that injury concern.
Yeah,
that's the only problem right there. That's why he lasted this long in free agency. He's looking like how he did 4 years ago, 5 years ago when he was healthy. Just as one of the better inside linebackers.
San Francisco, he was the Jets organization, probably about 3 different teams, right?
Yeah. So if he stays healthy, this was a steal. But that's like that was like the major concern on him is how injury prone he's been the past handful of years. But if he can get past that, like Durfee said, he's a damn good inside backer, and if we can milk a year or 2 of them, tail end of his career is a great signing by the con artist.
Who do you think? Who do you think is going to be the big injury this year? There's always one. There's always one guy that goes down.
That's my concern.
You got to go the whole season without this person. I mean, there's a couple leading candidates, but
I'm not going to jinx it by saying who we all think it's going to. We all want to say that happened last year. I'm going to go with Clam. I think
Clam
for for a while there's that time when him and Tua, like every other year, it seemed like one would go down for a big stretch at a time. I'm
I
throwing
would be okay with
Cam out
Clam
there.
going down. I would. I mean, I would. Yeah, you know, that big body is great to have on the inside like
But
that.
when you
But
see him get pushed around a lot by guards one-on-one at this stage of his career, yeah.
I think some of these younger guys might come out and just outplay Clam.
Yeah.
You know, you got Liel. You know, any of these guys on the defensive line that they're chomping at the bit to get the opportunity. And somebody like Liel, I mean, this guy makes mad. I think he's really good on the defensive line. Also, some who we were just talking about, Keanu Benton. So I mean, it wouldn't probably wouldn't be the greatest loss ever. However, you know, he is a starter. He does have the experience and he has the size. I'd like to see Clam come out and just have a great season. I mean, from a couple of years, we really went to talk. We started talking about him, you know, underperforming, talking all the garbage, and then coming out and just not being the guy that he says he's going to be. And don't get me wrong, he's doing all right, but you know, I'd like to see him have an all-pro season where he's not selected for his name or anything like this. I would just like to see him have a dominant season where every game you're like, wow, this is the Clam that we've been waiting for. This is the Clam that we wanted to see. This is the Clam. That's the Clam that I hope that we get this year. I mean, whether that happens or not, I don't know. But you know, I would like to see that from Cam.
Me too.
One of these years.
Me too. Get back to the way he was like 5-6 years ago, where like him and Tua would just dominate games, to where they would, you know, they weren't getting beat one-on-one with like guards you never even heard of. You know, eat up those blockers and still put up your numbers. That's Cam's big thing. Oh, I still put up these numbers and I go down in the rankings. You're going to get your numbers. It's the way our defense is designed now with 3-4 ends, you know. But he needs to get back to this controlling that line of scrimmage so that inside and outside backers can do their thing. You know, he's very inconsistent. You know, you'll see him like one play he'll be chasing people all over the field,
and that's why he's not
in the backfield, and then you'll see him get absolutely blown up play after play, games at a time where you're like, you know, he'll have a couple tackles, but they're inconsequential. He really didn't control the line of scrimmage. It's like, get back to what he was. He's that guy that people say like Lev Bell was, like the distraction, the yapper talking to the media. This guy always yaps to the media, barely backs it up on the field anymore. And it's just, you know, swatted away. Oh, it's Cam. He's great. He's the best. He's a frustrating player. I used to be the biggest Cam Hayward fan. But even though he came from a high, I was.
There's nothing about Cam Hayward that I think that would justify you being not only the biggest fan, but just a fan.
I was a big fan of Cam Hayward until like that Jacksonville Jaguars playoff game where him and Stephon Tua got destroyed, and he had the gall to talk after the media like he played a great game and it was everyone else's fault. He's the me after we win and us after we lose type of guy.
His inconsistency is what keeps him from being great. I would like to see a more dominant Clam, a Clam that just comes out from the beginning, as you said, controls the line of scrimmage, makes noise, and everyone says, yeah, that was a really great game Clam played. And then when the next week came around, I'd like to see the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you're one of the best, it shouldn't matter who lines up in front of you. Because let me tell you what, it don't matter who they put or how many they put in front of Aaron Donald. He's still going to get his.
Yeah.
This is the player that Clam claims to be. And this is the player that we want Clam to be. But Cam Hayward's inconsistency is what keeps him from being great from year to year. And, you know, for what he is, he's good. He's a good veteran with the size and in the middle. You know, and if you're not going to be one of the best or claim to be one of the best, I could accept that from Clam. Yeah. But for Cam Hayward, he has to walk the walk after he talks the talk, because he tells us all the time about how great he is. Don't get me wrong, I like the guy. But you can't go on and on telling us all the time how great you are and then be inconsistent and just not be, productive in that sense where, again, it doesn't matter who they line up in front of Aaron Donald. He gets in there. He gets to the quarterback. He gets his numbers. That's what Clam claims to be. That's what I want to see Cam Hayward be.
Me too. I'm tired of seeing him in the past handful of years get just not being able to beat one-on-one blocks anymore. Like, come on, you should be able to do that. You're used to be getting double teamed at that position, and you get these guards that will block them 30 yards downfield sometimes. It's frustrating. because you see like the flashes of his old self to where he can still dominate. He'll have those handful of games, those 4 or 5 games where he gets those damn good numbers that pad his stats at the end of the year. But you break it down over the long haul, you watch the games, he's not the player that he thinks he is and that the media and the fans think he is anymore. When he flashes, he flashes. I mean, he pops
If he
off the
comes out
screen and you're
has
like,
the
hell
season
yeah.
that we're
But when you
talking
watch
about,
yeah.
I'll peel back the Clam name. I won't call him Clam no more. He's a Clam.
Me too.
Right now, he's been a Clam. And if he goes and like I said, improves and becomes more consistent and does these things that he says all off season long, then you know what? He's no longer Clam. He's Cam. He's back in the good graces. But you know what? I think that the fact that he gets on and he talks to the media and he talks and does all these interviews, this is what keeps him in the good graces of Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Oh yeah.
If he was a bad attitude or just didn't have that personality, nobody would put him in that category. I don't think. Because the thing is, you just don't see it. You don't see it week to week. Once you see it week to week, you then could carry that with you. But
yeah,
that's his thing. He's just not consistent in that sense. Is he a consistently good player? Yeah, he is consistently a good player. But to be that tackle that he says that he is, it's only him and Aaron Donald and everybody else. Straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, this isn't even making this up.
Yeah.
Last preseason, it's me and Aaron Donald, and then there's everybody else. Show us that, please.
Yeah.
We want to see that.
Like I've never seen a more insecure Steeler in my life than this guy. Anytime there's like a phony baloney rating system coming out from like ESPN, NFL Network, PFF, he is all over. Where am I? How
stop worrying about that stuff and worry about getting by blockers.
That stuff like you internalize and say amongst yourself or the team. You don't go out to the media and talk about it. They're like a baby. If that was anyone else on the Steelers, if that was like Deontay Johnson, that was George Pickens, then people would be like, oh, these guys are divas and this is all they care about. But it's Cam and it's like, oh yeah, he's totally disrespected. It's like, dude, calm down. You know how many times Ben was left off of like top 10 lists, top 5 lists, top 3 lists of
for being a Hall of Famer? He was left off
and he
of
would just
ample.
And he would just laugh and go, yeah, it is what it is, and go out there and win Super Bowls, win big games, put up gaudy numbers. Just do it like that. Come on, kid. I want to be a fan of you again. I do. I want to be a fan of you because you're a Pittsburgh Steeler.
One more quick NFL note, and then we will move on. The Rams rookie quarterback Stetson Bennett, everybody knows this guy from Georgia. We laugh about him and joke on the show, but in his first preseason game, guys, he went 17 for 29, 191 yards and a touchdown. So there is this quarterback out of Georgia that nobody really expected anything from. And, who knows who he faced, but those aren't bad numbers.
Hey, when he come out after being like, 14 years in college, he's got a lot of game experience behind him.
Yeah, but a lot of these guys that had the extra, a lot of it has to do with COVID, and you can't really pull that against these guys. But guys, we do have something fun to do today.
Oh God.
Today we are going to talk about the predictions of the week because all the NFL games have been played. I got to tell you, one of you guys did really well, and the other one, well, not so much. So let's get started. Derpy, you ready?
Yep.
All right. So guys, I'm going to start with the Thursday games. I'm going to give you the game, the teams, the scores, and then I'm going to tell you how we picked. And then at the end, we're going to tally them up and see where we landed for this week's picks of the week. First game of the week was the Texans at the Patriots. Texans and Patriots. The Texans win this game. Derpy picks the Texans. Mike picks the Patriots. 20-9 Texans win that game.
Fuck you, Bill Belichick.
Second game of the week, Seattle versus the Vikings. Seattle wins this game 24-13, and both you guys picked the Seahawks. Third game of the week, the Steelers and Tampa Bay. For whatever reason, Mike never picks the Steelers. Steelers win, of course, 27-17. That's all right, because every time you pick the Steelers or you don't pick the Steelers, they win. So I don't explain.
This is why I do it. This is why I do it.
Steelers, of course, they win this game 27-17. Derpy picks the Steelers. Mike picks the Buccaneers. Derpy has 3 wins. Mike has 1 win at this time. Their next game is the Falcons and the Dolphins. The Falcons beat the Dolphins 19-3. Derpy picks the Falcons. Mike picks the Dolphins. Derpy grabs another win on that.
Oh, I'm getting smoked.
Packers Bengals. Packers win 36-19. The most points scored this week, the 36 by the Packers. Derpy picks the Packers. Mike picks the Bengals. Mike, you're picking up right where you left off.
I am too. You know what? I'm okay with that though.
Lions Giants. Lions win this game 21-16. Where are we at? Lions Giants. He's both picked the Lions. So he's tied on that. Commanders Browns. Washington wins 17-15. Derpy picks the Commanders. Mike picks the Browns. It's like you try. How do you even do this bad in the preseason? Where it's almost impossible to pick teams in the preseason.
I was just throwing names out, dude. No?
Relax. Hold yourself together. There's a lot of games left here. Cardinals beat the Broncos 18-7. Cardinals 18, Broncos 17. I'm sorry. You both picked the Broncos.
Ooh.
Both took the O on that one.
Yeah, we both were trying to let's ride with them, and it didn't work.
Bears 23, Titans 17. Bears 23, Titans 17. Mike actually picked the Bears on this one. Derpy took the Titans.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's a rare move. There you go. There you go. Getting back in it, Mike. Get a nice little streak going, and you'll be just fine. Buffalo Bills 23, the Indianapolis Colts 19. Yins both picked the Colts. Believe it or not, Yins both picked the Colts. 2 L's. The Jets over the Panthers, probably the most dominant performance of the week. A little concerned about the offensive line in New York, though. I was watching a little this morning, and they were saying that, can this line keep Aaron Rodgers protected? That is going to be the question. But the Jets win this game 27-0. Derpy picks the Jets. Mike picks the Panthers. Jaguars and Cowboys. Jaguars win 28-23. A lot of people putting them high up on the list this year. I put Trevor Lawrence up high on the list. I think putting the team high on the list is yet to be determined. I know that they got into the playoffs last year. It's going to be interesting. Again, I think that Trevor Lawrence is the real deal. I'm just not really sold on the Jaguars yet. I got to see a little bit more on the team.
I see what you're saying.
Jaguars. Derpy picked the Jaguars. Mike picked the Cowboys.
Hey, it's preseason.
Next game.
It's preseason.
It's preseason. You got to get back in the swing.
Yeah.
You still got to get in the swing, Mike. 4 games left, guys. The Ravens 20, the Eagles 19. A hell of a game. I had said this the other day when we were talking about them. I'm like, this is probably a game you're not going to want to miss. And I hit it right on the head. The Ravens win this one, guys, 20-19. Both took the Ravens.
Well, yeah, because they actually try to win.
Exactly.
Games.
Why wouldn't you pick the Ravens?
Exactly. You just keep picking them.
Someone I was watching, they were like, "Well, you want to try and do your best in the pre. You want to win. You want to win." And I was thinking, why? Why those games mean nothing? Why wouldn't you want to win during the regular season and take that more serious? But you always got, they want to win in the preseason. So
the scrubs want to win.
Yeah. All right, where were we? See, it's both picked the Ravens in that game, so you're safe. Mm-hmm. All right, fellas, 3 games left. The Chargers played the Rams, the Battle of LA. The Chargers win this one convincingly, 34-17. Derpy picks the Chargers. Mike picks the Rams. 2 games left, Saints, Chiefs, and then Raiders, 49ers. 2 good games. The New Orleans Saints come out with the win. Last moment field goal walk-off, if you will. The Saints win 26-24 over the Chiefs. Derpy picks. Yeah.
I was going to say real quick about that Saints game. Did anyone see what happened to their kicker?
No. I seen him kick the game-winning field goal.
Dude's like really tiny. He got stopped multiple times before the game. The security thought he was a fan.
Yeah.
They're like, where are your credentials? Why are you out on the field? He's like, no, I am the kicker. And they had to get someone to say, yeah, he's actually the kicker. He's allowed out onto the field. And he goes out and boots the game winner.
You know what? I thought that about our kicker, that BT Potter, that kid out of Clemson. Boy, did he look young and out of place.
Yeah, it's like who are you? What, sir? Why are you on the field? Are you drunk?
The Saints, they walk off with a field goal to win the game, 26-24. Derpy picks the Saints. Mike picks the Chiefs. You picked the Chiefs.
Well,
And finally, last game of the weekend, the Raiders and the 49ers. The hated Raiders. You know what, this 49ers team, and again, it's preseason, I know, but they just look like they look like us last year in the preseason. Everyone's kind of running into each other, and
you
just don't look ready overall.
Yeah,
but the Raiders win this game 34-7, and you both picked the Raiders. So I already took the liberty of tallying up the score before we went on.
It's ugly, isn't it?
It is ugly.
I am a god at preseason predictions.
Well, it might not be as bad as I was thinking. So let's see. Derpy, you won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You won 13 games. Mike, there's a lot of games that you got, but Derpy had picked them as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You picked the Seahawks for a win, but he picked the Seahawks.
Yeah.
You picked the Lions for the win, and he picked the Lions. So you won 5 games. But out of the games that you won where he didn't win, let me take a quick look. You won 1 game that he didn't win. You won the Bears game. I don't even remember the Bears and Titans. You got 5 correct, but when it comes down to the amount of games that you won where he didn't, it was just the Bears. But hey, Mike, as we say, it was preseason game 1.
It was preseason. Like
Derpy plenty of time to get better.
Well, Derpy's just going through
picking this preseason L.
He's just going. Oh, I'm just going to pick all the teams.
Preseason L, Mike.
Derpy, you have a lot of L's on this show that I have not talked
come
about.
on, what was
so
you saying about Derpy's picking?
Derpy was like picking like it was like the regular season.
But he got
I'm just going like whose backups are going to try harder.
But he got them all right. He's doing something. Whatever you're doing, stop overthinking. You're overthinking the whole thing.
I got to dumb it down like Derpy does.
You do. That is what. Yes.
I think Derpy was just good. Yeah, I'm taking this team. Nah, sure, I'll take that team. I don't know. Derpy's asking who's their quarterback. Like Derpy has this encyclopedic knowledge of 4-string quarter. He has like 4-string quarterback Rolodex. He can't tell you anything about the starters, but that 4-stringer, he knows who's going to come in and ball out.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of like a college football player, rookie NFL expert. You know, one of these guys that come out of college, he just has this infinite knowledge about them.
He just knows like these random players.
We got to go over to baseball briefly before we start to wrap up the show,
your crown,
guys.
Derpy. Here's your crown.
Give me that crown.
The crown. We don't start till regular season, but that gives you a little taste, Derpy. That gives you a little taste.
It's dangling.
Mike hasn't won a week in forever, but yet he still holds the crown. I don't get it.
A possession's 9/10 of the loss, boy.
Over to baseball, the Pirates had to play a doubleheader yesterday because their game 2 nights ago got rain. They got postponed because of the rain. They play a doubleheader. They win the first game 4-2 over the Reds. Keller throws 6 innings, gives up 5 hits, 1 earned run, has 7 Ks. Bednar gets the save, and Triolo gets his first home run in the majors.
Nice.
Second game of the day. The Reds win this game 6-5, goes to 10 innings. They do something I like. Now in baseball, in extra innings, they put a automatic runner on second base to start the inning.
I like it.
I do too. You know, say he scores, and then the next time, the next team comes up and they score, and then you go through that and go through that. I would rather do that than go through 5 innings of no scoring at all, get to the 7th inning, then finally somebody gets in and scores and wins the game. I like the automatic runner at second base. It speeds the game up. It gives it a little bit more excitement. It came back to screw us over in the 10th inning last night for the Pirates. Pirates lose 6-5 and 10. Andre Jackson throws for 3.2, 3 and 2/3 innings, gives up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, and has 5 strikeouts starting for the Pirates. Peguero hits a home run. Mike, here's one for you. Big Stacks. It's 2 home runs yesterday in that game.
I saw that. I was going through the box scores. I saw people are like, oh yeah, Brian Reynolds. Like that first game, he did nothing, but that second one, he had a nice little stat line. I was impressed. Like now we can just do this.
Now that we're out of contention.
Yeah, he's picking it up.
When every game was so important that you needed to win just that one game for whatever reason, he managed to go 0 for 4 or 0 for 5. Now the Pirates are 11.5 out and pretty much have put themselves out of it. Brian Reynolds, Big Stacks Reynolds, comes through with 2 home runs in a game. This is what you're going to get, man. This is the future looks good right now. Yeah. It does not look so good.
No, there's a lot of potential in this team. But I hate to. I sound like a shill when I say that. There's a lot of potential, but there actually is. We're actually seeing it. There's evidence, visual evidence that we have some good young players finally.
Game 1 of 3 against the Mets at Citi Field starts tonight, 7:10. Both the Mets and Pirates are 53 and 65. You couldn't be any more even than these two teams are. That doesn't go for their payroll, but it does go for their record. Again, both teams, Pirates and Mets, 53 and 65.
My lights turned out on me.
Mike, do you want to go ahead and talk about the website?
Yes, I do. Yes. dumyinzers.com. Head on over there for all your Dum Yinzer needs. I noticed that we've got a lot of new subscribers recently. So head on over there. If you want to watch us on YouTube, if you're already on YouTube, links there. But if not, head on over to Dum Yinzers with links to Spotify and a bunch of other platforms where you can go back and just listen to us. All at dumyinzers.com.
Buffalo Bills are next in our crosshairs, guys. So the question of the day is going to be Buffalo Bills. We're going to do some Buffalo Bills trivia this week to round out the shows. You guys ready? Ready for a little Buffalo Bills trivia?
I am ready for some Buffalo Bills trivia.
Derpy?
I am ready.
Derpy.
All
ready,
right.
ready.
Here we go. Question of the day is this, fellas. Which Buffalo Bills player earned NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 1998? It was a big story. I would tend to think that Mike would probably know better what this answer would be. However, Derpy, he has, as I said, he has hidden infinite knowledge in there that most don't have. So he may know this as well. I would come back and give you a guess, but I'm pretty sure if I did, it would be hook, line, and sinker at that point. So I'll think about it. Go ahead and think it over, guys. We are live 7 days, Monday through Sunday, right here at 11:30 every day. And the show that we do every day gets uploaded over on Spotify in podcast form at 8:00 p.m. So you just want to listen to the show, put them in your earbuds, maybe hit the gym, take a walk. You could always listen to the show in podcast form. It goes up 8:00 p.m. every day on Spotify. All right, fellas, the question of the day is this. It's a Buffalo Bills question because this is who we play next. The question is, which Bills player earned NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 1998? 1998. Do you guys have guys doing okay with trying to figure it out, or do you want me to give you some kind of, again, if I give the clues, I think that'll give it away. Do what you want with that. All right, so I'm going to start with Mike. Mike, which Buffalo Bill earned Comeback Player of the Year in 1998? Is your mic not on, or are you just not talking? Wait, I still can't hear you. You want to send a smoke screen?
Quarterback.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Jim Kelly. Sorry, I had to talk to the kid, and I muted it. And yeah, Jim Kelly.
So Jim Kelly is your pick. And
yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. Did you guys hear me when I talked about the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the website.
Yeah. Okay, then I must have bumped it afterwards. My bad, gentlemen. My bad.
Derpy, which Buffalo Bills player earned NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 1998? Mike says Jim Kelly, another Western Pennsylvania guy, another Hall of Fame.
The only quarterback to lose 4 Super Bowls in a row.
And you're going to go with Jim Kelly as well.
Jim Kelly.
All right. Which Bills player or an NFL comeback player of the year in 1998? You guys are correct. It was the quarterback. However, at that time, Jim Kelly had already retired, and this quarterback comeback player of the year was Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie.
Flutie Flakes.
What the hell did Flutie get comeback player of the year for? Being a bum?
Yeah, well, he was there. He was the guy there in the late 90s until Drew Bledsoe took over, but or vice versa. I think Drew Bledsoe and then Doug Flutie came. But remember, he came and he Doug Flutie, the Flutie Flakes. He was trying to help the kids and the sick kids and this and that, and all the proceeds from that cereal went to the it was just this big story in the late 90s with Doug Flutie. He came out of Boston College. He was a little guy. He was supposed to be a decent quarterback. Then he ends up going and playing in the USFL or one of these off leagues. But yes, for about 6 minutes in the late 90s, Doug Flutie was a big story. Little guy, big story, but he was the comeback player of the year in 1998, guys. Doug Flutie. Yeah, he wasn't a bad pick. Jim Kelly was not a bad pick. Of course, he ended up getting cancer later.
Yeah,
Jim
that's
Kelly
what I thought.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if he
that's
had
what Jim's
cancer during his
guys were.
playing year. Yeah, because I knew he battled cancer numerous times.
And that my first thing, as soon as you said Jim Kelly, I knew that's the thought process there.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday was OJ, first Hall of Famer from Buffalo. Today is Doug Flutie, the comeback player of the year from 1998. We're gonna learn. If we don't learn, we're gonna certainly remember some things about the Buffalo Bills this week in the Buffalo Bill trivia. Mike, you got anything before we start getting ready to take off?
God, let's go Steelers. It's almost time for another week of preseason games. I can't wait. Let's go.
I can't wait till next week too, because like I said, they played this whole way through the weekend, all the way to Monday. And then we play Thursday, the following, the couple days later. So once we blow through this 5-day NFL football weekend, we only have a couple days to the Steeler game, the last Steeler game of the season, preseason. So I'm looking forward to that. Derpy, any thoughts before we get ready to take off?
The Buffalo Bills are the only team in the NFL to lose 4 straight Super Bowls.
Very true.
Do you really think they'll ever do something?
I think at some point they will, and this might be the guy to get it done for them. But again, I'm just not overwhelmed with them yet. I mean, a team like Kansas City is a team that really takes you away. But on the other hand, I think that any given year, any team given the right circumstances can do really well. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to wait it out, watch how the season plays out. You never know. Allen could blow his knee out in week 3, and they could be having big problems. As you would say, Derpy, or something similar, this is why you play the game,
Yeah, and just remember, Derpy, the Steelers had 40 years of futility, from their inception until their first Super Bowl. Then we had another long stretch of futility from the last 4 to these 2. So anything can happen in the NFL.
A lot of people forget to say, I mean, last Super Bowl we won was 2008.
Yeah.
That's 15 years ago already.
Yeah.
Won a Super Bowl in 15 years?
Yeah.
We are due.
Down the city.
Can't stay healthy.
We are due. I do want to say thank you for checking us out, everybody. We do appreciate each and every one of you. As always, from Mike, Derpy, myself, the 2 Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great